All right, what's up, Bulldogs? Today we're going to be talking about fitness. Gotten a lot of questions about getting stronger, gaining muscle, gaining some size, gaining strength, and there's really actually only 4 exercises that you need to know in order to grow stronger. I'm going to be talking about those today. If you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button down below. Join the Bulldog Pack. Become one of the Bulldogs here at Bulldog Mindset. Before I get into those 4 exercises, I want to tell you about sort of the reason why a lot of people, they fail on their fitness goals, they fail to build a physique that they want. They get overwhelmed, okay, and they don't do the right exercises, right? They do a lot of isolation exercises, they don't do the compound lifts. It ends up being a lot of work, and they end up, giving up, failing, or really just not making the progress because they're not doing the things that are going to be most effective. You want to focus on these 4 exercises first, and then after that, you can add other stuff in, but you want to be making sure that you're making progress in these 4 important exercises, these 4 important lifts, if you're going to gain the strength, if you're going to gain the muscle and the size that you want. That's critical. It's really, really critical. A lot of you guys, you're doing these kind of bro splits where you're working, and I used to do this, right? I used to do back and bis days, tris and shoulders days, right? And the problem with that is that it doesn't work as well because a lot of times you're only hitting each muscle group once and you're doing all these auxiliary exercises that isn't really going to benefit you when you should be spending your effort and your energy and your intensity on the more compound movements and these 4 specific lifts. So number 1 I'm going to put here is bench press, okay? Now, most of you are probably already benching. This is important. The reason why is not necessarily because it's the best exercise for the chest, but it is a compound movement. If you're good at bench, if you bench a lot, you're going to be using the chest, of course, okay? But you're also going to be hitting the triceps, which is really important for growing your arm size. I have huge arms, I have huge triceps, as you guys have probably noticed, okay? And part of it is because my triceps are huge. I can do overhead dumbbell presses for like 120 pounds with the seated dumbbell presses, no problem, okay? And a lot of it is because I've developed my strength from these compound movements. When you're doing bench press, you're gonna hit a little bit of the upper shoulders, the front delts as well. So it's important, you wanna make sure that you're doing bench press as number 1. Number 2 that I'm gonna put here is gonna be the squat. I, at different periods in my routine, have stopped squatting because I can't squat to depth very well. I have a little bit of a flexibility, mobility issue. I've been working on that. I probably need to get some lifting shoes, but in general, I've also hurt myself from my back. But in general, the squat is going to be one of the most effective exercises that you're going to do for building your legs. The squat, is just a fundamental exercise that is going to be using a lot of your body, not just your legs, right? It's going to be mostly activating your quads and your glutes, okay? But it's also going to require some core stability, right? You're going to be using your back. It's just a good exercise for hitting really hard and getting some serious growth. If you do a lot of squats, your legs will fucking grow. I promise you, your ass will grow. You will get growth out of it. Next, some of these are going to surprise some of you guys, but the 3rd one that I'm going to put, okay, is weighted pull-ups. Why do I say weighted pull-ups here when I could say something like, I could say something like deadlift, or, there's some other exercises in there. Okay, the reason why I say weighted pull-ups, okay, is because what I'm looking for physique-wise is to build a good physique, okay? And the thing about weighted pull-ups, again, it's like I talked about with the bench press, is that it's going to build that nice V taper. It's going to hit those lats really, really hard. It's going to build your lats up. Also, if you do them, especially if you do them close grip, it's going to hit those biceps. In fact, no matter how you do it, you're going to hit the biceps in some way or another. And the thing is, like, if you want to grow big arms, right, if you want to have a good physique, you need to have good, broad, wide shoulders, okay? You need to have that V taper, so you want to have those big lats, and having those big biceps is important, but we don't have time necessarily to work the biceps directly all the time. It's more important to hit these in the compound. So if you get really good and you start actually doing pull-ups with added weight on that, you will develop big lats and you will develop big biceps. It puts a lot of strain on the bicep. So that's one of those primary exercises. Again, the reason why I'm giving you guys this specific 4, other people would give you different ones perhaps, is because I'm interested in building that aesthetic physique that I'm after, right? The physique that I have is one that I've been trying specifically to develop, which is wide shoulders, right? Big shoulders, to have that V taper, to have those lats there, right? And to have, you know, decent sized legs. Doesn't have to be huge legs, but and nice big arms that people notice in your shirt, right? So the 4th one here, some of you are going to guess deadlift. I like the deadlift, okay? If I have a 5th, it'll be a deadlift, but the 4th one is actually going to be military press, shoulder press, okay? Again, why? Because of what I talked about. This is a compound movement, okay? It is going to utilize the shoulders, but it's also going to hit the triceps as well, okay? And you're going to have a little bit of chest activation there perhaps, but mostly you're going to be working on the shoulders. So this exercise, again, it's one that you can load up with a lot of weight. If you only did those 4, if you only did the squats, the bench press, the military press, and the weighted pull-ups, you would develop a good, strong physique and you'd be strong overall. Squats and deadlift, the reason why I don't include them in a lot of routines is simply because they take a lot of time, they take a lot of effort, and it's hard to push those to the max. Maybe deadlift you can push to the max more, and you need correct and proper form in order to get the benefits out of them and not get injured, right? I'll give you an alternative here for some of you guys. If you don't want to do squats and deadlift, which I have taken out of my routine for a while, I just recently reincorporated it into my routine, and it's definitely beneficial, okay? Then this is what I would do. I would say you do bench press, okay? You do military shoulder press, you do weighted pull-ups or chin-ups, okay? And swap between hand grips and between those. And you do lunges. Walking lunges will kick your fucking ass when you add weight to those things, and they will build up your legs like nothing else. You will be fucking sore if you do walking lunges with a decent amount of weight. All those exercises, like I said, they're compound, so you're getting multiple benefits out of them. They're hitting all the muscle groups, right? If you think about it, what muscle groups are you not hitting when you're doing that? The only thing is calves and hamstrings perhaps, but you're going to hit the hamstrings, especially if you do walking lunges, and you're going to have to add some stuff, right? So, just to give you an idea of my typical routine, I start off and I prioritize on these compound movements, on these 4 that I've talked about. But I'll add a few other things, of course, right? I'll do some incline bench press, right? And I'll do them with dumbbells. I'll do things like hamstring curls or deadlifts, right? If I'm not doing deadlifts, will hit your hamstring, by the way. And then I'll do things like some calf raises, and I'll do a little bit of arms, right? I'll only do really one exercise for arms for each, for bicep and tricep. I'll do some curls, of course, and then I'll do, some mostly overhead tricep extensions are great. If you have more time, add in the more stuff. But, and the other thing I'll tell you guys about this really quick tip is train, if you can, these 4 exercises every single time. You're going to have way more effective routine and more results if you train 3 times a week, right? And you do these exercises, right? Hitting each muscle group 3 times a week is going to be way more effective than doing a lot more exercises and doing a split, because that frequency is really important. If you're curious about this also, I'm going to recommend a friend of mine. Well, I don't know him personally, but I've been watching his YouTube channel. I like to call out people that I like. Jeff Nippard, you can check out his videos here. I'll put a link in the description as well, but he's got a bunch of videos on, scientifically debunking a lot of myths and, frequency training and things like that. And you're going to find that he pretty much agrees with what I'm saying here, and especially about the frequency being really important. He's got some series on the fundamentals, and he talks about frequency. Volume is number 1, frequency is number 2. So you want to have high volume and you want to have high frequency. All right, that's it, guys. If you haven't already, make sure that you click that subscribe button and become a fucking Bulldog. Join the Bulldog pack, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.